What the? Wow. Today we are at the property that we were talking about just a few weeks back. And look at this. All these walls have been put up. We're gonna walk through this property and show you guys what this property has transitioned into. Before you go any further, make sure you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And to see the previous video of what this property looked like before, check the description below. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
No, Matt was explaining that this isn't the typical model because it's not right near in the businesses and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. I'll go into that in a second. So we might as well just get started, I guess. So the way I acquired this property, I know you're a little bit more on the newer side on creative finance. Everybody else here understands creative finance, right? Subject to. I bought this property, and this is what I was telling you about a couple weeks back. I bought it subject to an existing mortgage. So the owner who actually lived in this property was in arrears. They were like $40,000 in arrears. What ended up happening was HUD actually ended up buying their arrears out and putting a silent second on the property, okay? So when I acquired the property, I actually didn't have to catch up the arrears. HUD actually ended up catching the arrears. When she bought the when that ended up happening, because she got that loan modification, she actually ended up like deciding, hey, I don't want the home. The burden of $2,600 a month was just too much for me. The PIT on this house is like 26 something, right? So I didn't have to qualify for the mortgage. I didn't have to go through the bank, anything like that. That whole modification process was done prior to me actually buying the property. The wholesaler worked with the realtor, because you might see a realtor sign out there. We actually just pulled it because they never pulled their sign. So we just pulled it. A realtor had it listed. They weren't able to sell the property because they didn't have enough tools in their tool belt to be able to solve the seller's problem. So we were able to come in. The wholesaler was actually in communication with the realtor, which I think it was just like a flat fee service. So if I understand correctly, the realtor was actually more so in direct communication with the seller themselves. It was just like a flat fee listing. They paid $500, got that realtor out of the way, and then that wholesaler continued working with the seller directly. So these type of deals that you hear me speaking about, which I know you haven't got a chance to walk through. These are the type of deals that we're doing is creative finance, whether it's a subject to deal or a seller finance deal.
Yeah, I don't want you to waste all their time because I need to understand it more, but I do a lot of work with the pre-foreclosure and end up finding an investor, but they're normally someone who just buys the home.
Yeah.
And they don't do anything like this.
Right. And so are those typical people buying them cash, or are they using bank financing?
Yeah.
Or either or. I'm not in the business of putting, like this house cost me $380,000.
Right.
If I would have took $380,000 and parked it right here at this asset, the problem was there's no velocity of money there.
Right.
I like to take my dollar and spend as wide as I can, right? So the cash to close on this property was actually a little over $10,000. It was originally 15, got it down to 10 grand. So I paid 10 grand for this home. But the beautiful thing about that is a part of my cash to close was 1 month of PITI. So technically, my cash to close on this was like $13,000, right? That was the cash to close with the title company, and then the 1 month payment to the mortgage portal that I had to pay for the seller. So yeah, you get investors doing that, but a lot of them just don't understand the creative finance aspect.
I get it. That's why
So,
I'm here. And I don't as much understand it, but I can and will.
Yeah, so that's what I was just telling you. Like you've been hearing me speak about these creative financing. What is creative finance? Well, now you get to see us walk through the property. Now, typically when I take these properties down, I have to look at them like, am I going to Airbnb it? Okay, no, this doesn't fit the Airbnb model. Is this going to be a fix and flip? No, this doesn't fit the fix and flip bucket. And I have all these different buckets. Now, I always tell people, if you're just starting out, pick one bucket. I've been doing this for a while, so I understand a lot of different buckets at a high level. So it's okay for me to look at different buckets, right? If you're just doing pad splits, just do pad splits. Until you really get an understanding of what the model is and what other different buckets you have access to, you can do those as well. Now, maybe I could have wrapped this, but honestly, the PITI is already really, really high, right? If I did a wraparound mortgage, which is another creative finance strategy, but the PITI is already really high. Somebody can go and rent this property for $2,200 a month. If I was gonna, my initial PITI, if it's already at 26, even though I'm only paying PI, they're gonna be in this house for $3,000 a month, over $3,000 a month. It doesn't make sense for me to do that. So the best strategy for me was to do a pad split. Now, what Matt was talking about a little bit ago, Palm Coast is probably not a market you would probably hear about pad splits a lot. I'd like to introduce you to a new revolutionary solution for furnishing your space that took me 10 hours to create. I made this for my business to streamline the furniture process to help me save time and hassle. So if you're tired of spending hours of researching and selecting individual products only to end up returning them, or want to take control of your time back and stop spending countless hours away from your family, it's time to simplify the furniture shopping process experience by grabbing your free ultimate shopping property list today. If you're tired of endless furniture hunting or have capital sitting idle, unsure how to make it work for you, it's time to make a change. Get your free copy of the ultimate property shopping list now and start taking control of your time. Check out the link below and let's get back to the video. Now, I want to cast my vision what I have for this property. The reason why I picked this property is one, there is no other Padsplits in the area. There's over 100,000 residents in this zip code. There's over 45,000 single family homes in this zip code. So see how I have data already in my mind? This is real data that I've pulled. And so these are determining factors of what made me invest in this market. They're opening a BJ's. They just opened up an Avid Health. This area is growing. So if I can corner the market a little bit and open up a Padsplit when there's no other competition, it's not like I could charge $4,000 a bedroom, but I can charge a little bit of a premium because that consumer doesn't have anywhere to go. There's no other rentals. One bedrooms in the area are starting about, studio apartments are like $1,000, $1,200 a month. One bedrooms are like $1,300 to $1,500 a month. So those are my biggest competitors. So when I'm pricing these bedrooms, in order for me to figure out what I'm getting per bedroom, I'm looking at what studios apartments are going for and is there any inventory. There is no inventory in studio apartments. There's really no inventory on one bedrooms. So there's a housing shortage in this area. So somebody who would rent one of these bedrooms, it's a stepping stone. And typically they're going to be here anywhere between 7 to 9 months based on Padsplit statistics. Now, I always want it to be longer. The existing floor plan of this home was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath property, okay? So just so you know and you can imagine, I added 4 more bedrooms. So that wall right there, Ann, that whole wall right there, that was all open, okay? That was all open, not just that wall, from that end of the home to that end of the home. This was actually the dining room here, and this was part of the living room. Okay. That wall where he's behind, that was also an opening.
The open plan that everybody wants to have.
Yeah, the open plan that everybody wants to have. Right.
But you're going to make money.
Exactly. So, but if you feel, I mean, even me putting up all these walls, it still feels open in here.
It does.
You still see I have a lot of light in here, right? So the cool thing about this is when I walked this floor plan originally, because I always walk my properties before I put them under contract, when I locked this property up, I was like, holy smokes. This is 2,200 square foot, and I can add 3, 4 more bedrooms, but a good sized bedrooms. Now, when I first started doing Padsplit, you guys might want to think about this. I was actually taking my bedrooms, and I was like, how can I make as many bedrooms as possible, right? I have 80 square foot bedrooms at my other properties. And so that's okay, but the only problem with it is you're probably not going to have retention rate. And so now I started switching my mindset of like, okay, yeah, I can spread my risk a lot wider having more bedrooms in a property because I'm still at that 6 to 7 threshold. I don't want to go less than 6 bedrooms. But before I was like 8, 9 bedroom mindset. How can I put 8, 9 bedrooms in here? Because remember, you need 4 bedrooms to be on Padsplit. You need for every 4 bedrooms, you need 1 bathroom, right? And so I started making bigger bedrooms. Now, this is my smallest bedroom behind here, but as we walk through here, you'll see my bedrooms are a really good size. And all these bedrooms, except for that one, is gonna have a desk in them. They're gonna have a mini fridge in them. They have reach-in closets. And so you'll see as I take you through here, the amenities this person gets. So not only do they get a fully furnished room, they get power included in and internet included in their rent. And so they can actually come in here and the barrier to entry is a lot lower, right? We talked about those studio apartments in 1 bedrooms just a second ago. They have to put first, last, and security deposit. You guys are managers. Do you guys require first, last, and security when people apply?
Yeah, it's 3 times a month.
Right, 3 times the monthly rent. So these guys, they actually manage what, over 100 properties in Volusia County? A lot of properties.
We've ditched all our third parties, so just our own.
Okay, so their own portfolio. But these guys, you guys had a property management company. It would be first, last, and security. If they didn't make first, last, and security, and they didn't have an $85 deposit or the application fee, that person wasn't getting qualified for that property. And typically, they'd have to have a decent credit score. These individuals, only 2 times the rent, there's no first, last, and security. So you see where I'm going with it?
Yeah.
So you have the traditional way, somebody renting 123 Main Street. Now we've chopped up homes. We're renting to single individuals.
Okay, so I'm a single individual that is in a lower income thing.
Okay.
But what happens here? Can I come out in this area?
You can come out in any area you want. The only area that you can't come in is other
Someone
bedrooms.
else's bedroom.
This is going to be common area. Now, me as a Padsplit host, I can say, you know what? I can put a kitchen table here, which I will, okay? This is for you guys to eat. I'm not going to put any sofas or anything like that. And the reason why is you don't want people to congregate in the home.
Right.
You don't want people to say, hey, Johnny, man, hey, I'm renting a bedroom at 123 Main Street. Hey, you should come over. We have a big screen TV in the living room.
Right, no, I get it.
So when you're looking at these properties and acquisitions, you don't typically want pool homes. There are other Padsplit hosts that have pool homes, right? I don't buy pool homes. One, just because of maintenance, CapEx. I'm gonna have to resurface that pool at some point. I have to worry about. Could you imagine doing deals, real estate deals with no money? Absolutely. We're having an electrifying Orlando meetup where we're bringing together fellow entrepreneurs who excel at building businesses. Now, guess what? This isn't just any meetup. This is a very exclusive meetup where we're gonna have exclusive real estate investors like yourself who have tried the true path of real estate, just like yourself. So make sure you register by clicking the link below and I'll see you there. Pool pumps, it's just one more headache and it's a liability. Somebody slips and falls, they drown in there, a kid next door, he's out playing and boom, right? Right, exactly. So yeah, you're supposed to have a fence, but how many people actually have fences and bird cages around the pool? You know, some people do, some people don't. But I'm just saying, me as the investor, I want to mitigate my liability as much as possible, right? So I always think about those things. Okay. I don't want pools. I'm not a big fan of pools. But yes, you as the Padsplit members, what they called members, and why they call them members is because Padsplit is my tenant. Padsplit is a marketplace for bedroom rentals, okay? So I think somebody's here. So Padsplit is a marketplace. So think of it like Airbnb. When you want to go, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? So think about it like this. When you go on Airbnb, you know how Airbnb is a marketplace for like vacation rentals? You want to go on vacation? Padsplit, all it is a marketplace for bedroom rentals. All there is bedroom rentals on there. And so that's a company that has created a marketplace for that. Now, you as the investor, you can actually do this by yourself. But you have to ask yourself, do you want to do the marketing? Do you want to do the background check, the credit check, the employment verification? So I pay them a fee of 15% gross every single month for them to handle all that back end stuff that I don't want to do. It kind of streamlines the process for me a lot more. You see what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I hire them. But just so you guys know, you can do all this on your own. And by the way, I have done this all on my own. I know what it takes to actually curate a tenant for a bedroom. It's a lot of work. Facebook, you're getting blown up. People want to see the rooms. That's another thing. There is no showings. Once they book the room, there's no showings. They don't get to come here and say, oh, wow, well, this house has vaulted ceilings. Oh, yeah, I'll definitely take this one. Or, oh, wow, this home has Bob and Susie live in there. No, I can't, you know. So what Padsplit does on the platform, I don't know if you guys know this, they actually will put like Bob is room 1, Susie's room 2, and it'll tell you the people living there. And it also tells you their profile as far as like, are they ambivert? Are they extroverted? Are they introverted? Right? So you know the type of people you live. Oh, Bob's in room 1, he works 9 to 5. So you kind of know like, oh no, Joe's in room 2, he works at nighttime. He works in
Do you put pictures on Padsplit?
Correct.
Okay.
So they get so just think of it like Airbnb. You know exactly what you're getting into.
But you
So
don't
like,
see it before you
let me
go.
ask, yeah, exactly. Do you get to see an Airbnb property before you go? No, there's no
I know it from
showings.
the pictures.
Right, so it's the same thing. Just think of it, marketplace for bedroom rentals, right? And so what Padsplit has done is they have cultivated that within their platform. Now there's other websites like you have Furnish Finders. You could put your rooms on. You could put your rooms on Facebook Marketplace, Airbnb, stuff like that. If you didn't want to use Padsplit, and I talked about that the other day on my Zoom call, where there are other sources where you can actually curate your members too. Okay. So let's walk around. Let me kind of give you the vision of why I did the rooms, the way I did them, the things that are going to go in these bedrooms, and like we'll talk a little bit about price point. If you guys have any questions along the way, since it's a smaller, intimate group, just ask them, okay? Just so you know what I end up doing, since we're standing in this area, this whole back wall from this end of the home, and if you go to this home or part of the home, This wall, we created that wall, and we put a wall down the center of it to create 2 bedrooms. Okay? So this was actually, in the wall that you're standing behind, this was actually in a whole entire open floor plan.
Okay.
So I created 3 bedrooms just out of this whole living dining room area. All right? And then the existing floor plan was 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom. So you need, now it's 7 bedroom, 2 bathroom. You need, for every 4 bedrooms, you need 1 bathroom for Padsplit regulations. Okay, if you're gonna list on Padsplit. Obviously you're gonna do it on your own, that's up to you. So let's start right here, room number 1. This is a room that we did. This is actually my smaller bedroom. I'm gonna go back to what I said before. I'm not doing smaller bedrooms anymore just because I want retention rate. I don't want people to feel like they're in a prison cell. I want them to feel like, hey, this is roomy, this is cozy. I can add, typically we don't let them add furniture in the property, but if somebody says, hey, I read a lot of books, I wanna bring my bookcase, I'm okay with that, right? I'll bend the rules a little bit, right? Some people ask that. I've had people ask that before. Hey, can I bring my TV stand that I really like? One piece of furniture in a room is fine, but I'm not allowing them to bring their own setup.
Do you require like to have a window in each room?
Yes, so it's required. It's not me required. It's a code. And no, it's fire code.
Okay.
So what ends up happening is if there's a fire in here, for fire and safety regulations, they have to have 2 points of egress. So for instance, I need to be able to get out the window that way, and if there's a fire coming this way, I need to go this way, right? So every single room, you need to have 2 points of egress. So you'll see every single bedroom, there's a window. So when you're setting up these bedrooms, if you're not cutting windows into the actual existing structure and you're only putting up walls, when you're putting up your walls, you need to focus on where the windows are at. That's a super huge thing. Another thing you can see here, this was actually the ceiling fan prior. So we have to push that in. So for every bedroom, when you have your SOP, your standard operating procedures, you're gonna look at 3 things. Where are my windows at? Where are my fans, or if any electrical that's in the room? What's the third one? AC. Yeah, AC is another big thing, because now that we're putting up walls, guess what? You gotta move vents. So those are 3 things you wanna look at when you're putting up walls. So it's simple. So like for instance, if we had to move this vent, all the HVAC technician has to do is go up there and add another run, right? Boom, no problem. That's simple stuff. And which the guys that I work with, they're doing all 3 of those things, like a foot or 2. It's it, right?
So electricity is included, internet's included.
Yes.
As it is when you come in.
Imagine if I told you there's a way to boost your income without juggling countless real estate deals. You see, there's a common misconception that purchasing large opportunities in real estate is intimidating and complex. But let me assure you, it's not as daunting as it seems, and you're much closer than achieving that than you realize. Not too long ago, I was right there where you are and wondering how to transition from working from others to building my real estate empire. Real estate always seemed like an option, but the idea of accumulating multiple properties quickly fell out of reach. That's when I stumbled upon an exit strategy called Padsplit. I soon realized that the effort required to acquire numerous single-family homes is comparable to closing on just one Padsplit property with multiple units. Not only is it easier, but the returns come in much faster. I had finally discovered the pathway of breaking free from the 9-to-5 grind, and I haven't looked back ever since. Whether you're starting out of aiming to scale your investments, I'd like to invite you to a free upcoming Padsplit webinar training. Here I'll reveal the exact steps and process I've used to achieve the success and how you can replicate it. This is completely free. All I ask in return is 40 minutes of your time, and I'll introduce you to an opportunity that can truly transform your life. Don't hesitate. Click the link below to register for free now, and I'll see you on the other side. Correct. Everything and all furniture. Everything's included. And so what the cool thing about that is, just to kind of talk about it again, they don't have to put first, last, and security deposit down. Okay. They're paying typically anywhere from a move-in fee of $49 upwards to $97. I can set the move-in fee of whatever I want. My Jacksonville property, because I wanted to occupy it really quick, I put it to $0.
So that's just an administrative.
Right, it's just, yeah, okay. And it helps cover cost if you ever have to turn the room. So for instance, when my property is getting cleaned every single month, which is on a property like this, it'd be once or twice a month. My cleaner will come in here and clean all the common areas, right? Not the bedrooms. When somebody moves out of the bedroom, maybe they're here for 3 months, they move out, that moving fee will help offset that cost you have to pay them. Does that make sense? Yep. So this is my smallest room, guys. You can come in here. You'll see 2 forms of egress, right? You have, this room will have a full-size bed in it. Now remember, when you price your rooms, things you can price more on are the size of bed you have Do you have a ceiling fan? Do you have a reach-in closet? All my properties have all the bedrooms in this house have reach-in closets. Now, when I first started doing this, I didn't do the reach-in closets. I went like, oh, how can I do this the cheapest? How can I just put a dresser in there? Because on Padsplit, you just need a bed, a table lamp, and a dresser, and 2 forms of egress, and 80 square foot minimum per bedroom. If you meet those requirements, you can go ahead and
So
put.
how many square feet is this?
Oh, this is probably like 100.
Okay.
Yeah, probably like 100 square foot. But again, I'm going away from these smaller bedrooms.
Right.
This bedroom actually turned out a little bit smaller than I expected, but that's okay. We can only run the wall so far that way, because guess what? People have to go into the hallway there. You see? Now, with that hallway, I probably could have made it a little bit smaller, because the opening on a hallway only needs to be like 36 inches. Right. I could have probably made that a little bit smaller and brought the wall out that way, but we didn't end up doing that, right? So also, reach-in closet, this gives me a premium. The ceiling fan was going to give me a premium. 2 forms of egress, guys, and I'm more than 80 square foot.
Big farm there.
Yeah, this is great.
Huge bonus.
This is a huge bonus. Like, come on, man. Like, who wouldn't want this? Like, an ocean view. Like, come on, look at that. That's a nice ocean view right there. Like, somebody would love that view right there. But, so these are some of the things to consider. Another thing I want to touch on about closets. 2 things, and I know you can't see it because we're in the drywall phase. All my walls are soundproof, right? I know I keep talking about it, and a lot of people ask me about it. So, right.
Sound threshold for people inside the room.
Yes. So what happens is, so you see the drywall, how thin it is? Think about that. If I didn't soundproof the drywall, what happens is people coming in and out of that door or talking in the hallway or the kitchen right here, it's going to create this person to have frustration. For instance, if they work at nighttime, maybe at a hospital, and guess what? They need to sleep in the daytime, and most of the foot traffic is in the daytime, and people are making a lot of noise. This person's bed's probably gonna run this way at some point, right? They're gonna be a little bit frustrated. So spend that couple extra bucks to do the soundproofing. Because remember, the only thing that's holding that sound out is that small little drywall.
So what do you put in between?
We have soundproof insulation. Okay. And then around the outlets, we put outlet covers that are soundproof as well.
So it's like a roll-in, it's not blow-in.
No, this is a roll-in insulation, right? This is a roll-in insulation inside these walls.
Do you put doors on your closets?
Yes. We put doors on the closets, which are bifold doors, and then what we do is we put the racks so they can hang their clothes. So they can literally come in here when they get the room and it's 100% ready. We're pretty much, right now we're almost at the tail end. Right now these guys are going to come in, they're going to sand the walls, they're going to texture the walls, let that cure for a day or 2, and then they're going to come in and paint. For the closets right here, they will have that rack in there, and then when they get the room, actually there'll be that bifold door, but not only that, they'll have hangers in there as well. We include like 5 or 6 hangers so they can come in and hang their shirts. They want to bring more hangers, they can bring more hangers. But they can utilize this not only for clothes, they can utilize this for storage if they want. Okay?
Okay. So you have a garage here?
Yeah, we'll go through that in a
Okay.
second. You're getting a little far. Don't worry. We'll go through that in a second.
One other question. When
yeah.
you started, did you have a minimum cash threshold that you were willing to devote to each home?
Yeah, great question, actually. Very great question. So my strategy is on these deals, ideally, I want to be in no more than 15%. And that means like,
all in.
Yeah, all in, exactly. Like for acquisition costs, construction, furniture, because people don't realize the furnishings that I do, like I'm doing a little bit higher quality furniture. To furnish this place right here is like $7,500.
You're talking to somebody who's doing a staging.
Yes, that's a lot of money.
I know.
And we're just we're not doing nothing crazy. One nightstand, one mattress, and furniture costs has gotten way up. So
can you buy some of them in bulk if you have 3 coming on?
You can. For me, what we do is I've created a Padsplit shopping list. Okay. So if you guys ever want to get into this, or people who are viewing this, I have a Padsplit shopping list. So what I've done is I broke it down room by room by room. You can furnish this whole entire property within an hour. Because they just click the link and add it to the cart. And the cool thing about that is before I would go Wayfair, Amazon, all these different overstock.com. I made it super simple. So if you guys want access to that, and for my viewers, click the description below. So let's go on, and we're gonna go to the next room. Let's do it. All right.
So we can talk and walk. I'm
Yeah,
capable of that. So say that 15% all in. What return on that investment do you want?
So I'm looking at, for my cash on cash returns, I won't touch anything less than 20% cash on cash. Okay? I want to be, and 20% is the low number, right? For my cash on cash, I really want it to be 25 to 30% for me to take on these deals, right? So that's what I look for in my cash on cash return. This property, I'm going to be in, so you guys know, since she's talking about the numbers, and for my viewers, I'm actually going to be going more in depth on numbers. So don't forget to be on the lookout for that. I'm going to go way more in depth on the numbers. I'm going to put them all in a spreadsheet, line by line item. I'm actually going to do a walkthrough of a case study of this property once everything's said and all done, so you guys can see the exact numbers. This property, actually, I'm going to be in all in probably about between holding cost, between construction, Padsplit construction, between my upfront acquisition, between furniture, everything said and done, tax, tag, and title. I'll probably be in this about $50,000 to $60,000. 50 on the low end, 60 on the high end, okay? And then I'm looking for about a 25 to 30% cash on cash return. I will go as low as 20%. But if I start getting into like 19, 18, I probably won't look at it. It's not worth it. Again, this is for me, by the way. This is for my buy box. You guys' a buy box and you guys' criteria, don't compare it to me. I'm looking for a little bit different investments. I'm a little bit more picky on the things that I'm acquiring. So if you're looking at investments and a 16, 18% cash on cash return is okay for you guys, go for it. That's still a good cash on cash. I'm just looking for a little bit higher returns for me to take on this type of project, okay?
So how much is this room?
So price per week, again, going back to what I said earlier, studio apartments, you're looking at, studios are gonna be around $1,000 a month for these properties. For a studio apartment, that's a studio. And then you have one bedrooms, which are gonna be, and I've seen studios in this area go for upwards of $1,150. You're gonna also see one bedrooms go, again, we're looking at my competitors. You're gonna see one bedrooms go for 12, upwards to 1,500 a month. So what I'll do is I'll take my lowest studio apartment. The way I'm running my comparables for my rates are going to apartments.com, Zillow. I have access to the MLS. I'm looking at these sites and I'm seeing what the averages are amongst in an area in a 1 mile radius for studio apartments and one bedrooms. Then what I'm doing is I'm discounting 20 to 30% off that average number, and then I'll come up with my room rate. So a room like this that we're standing in, you're looking at about like $2.25 a week. I am also, remember, if you
Paid weekly?
paid week, they either have they can pay weekly or bi-weekly. It's up to them.
And monthly, no?
No, they can't pay monthly. So when a Padsplit member signs up, they have a 31-day commitment, okay? After that, it's weekly. Now, that Padsplit member can move in and for 2 weeks or 14 days, they can say, you know what, I hate this place. And I think on their end, on Padsplit end, they charge them like a cancellation fee. I think it's like $50. I could be wrong, but I know there's like some type of cancellation. Basically, what they tell them is like, we want you to commit for 31 days minimum, okay? After that, it's week to week. They could pay weekly or bi-weekly. It's up to them. So remember, on this, earlier I said, these rooms, $2.25, I can also charge a little bit of a premium because there's no inventory in this area. There's no studio apartments, there's no one bedrooms, okay? So I'm able to charge that premium on a room like this.
Okay, what's the threshold for Padsplit for their background check? Because you're liable to attract people that have less income, need to pay weekly, and may have some credit problems, some
Correct.
other problems.
Yeah, so remember, the barrier to entry is a lot lower. They do a background check, credit check, and employment verification. If you can show these three things, and then obviously you can show identification and proof of your current address, like you don't live on the street, then if you go through that criteria and if they approve you, then you're able to live in a room. Now, what I have found out of the 23 rooms that I have on Padsplit, I have found, and the members that they've curated for my bedrooms have been very high quality. Like I'm not like very high quality, very respectable. They're actually
an age threshold that you find?
Anywhere from 20, 29, upwards of 50 years old. Okay. People are. I have a lady on one of my other properties, 48, and she's renting a room, right? So those people probably going to want to rent the bigger rooms. You know, somebody who's like working 12-hour days, probably we're okay with a small room. They just need a place to lay their head in, you know, lay their head down on. So. But yeah, I know Padsplit has a stat on what the average age is. I can't remember it.
And is this going to be like an all male or all female?
So my last, my Jacksonville properties. So I'm playing around with the system right now. My Jacksonville property is male and female. Haven't had any issues. My Orlando properties, they're multi-units. So I have all males, all females, right? Okay. And then this one, I'll probably make male and female. Now the downfall about is if you just do male or female, the problem is your occupancy rate's probably gonna take a lot longer for you to get occupied. So you have to consider that. Like, do you want to just limit it to all males or all females? You know, probably have a lot less problems with all males. I don't know. I'm going to be doing a training on how to add $1 million to $10 million in real estate to assets to your portfolio in the next 6 to 12 months inside of my exclusive school community. So if you're tired of watching from the sidelines as others rake in real estate riches, it's time to swap those spectator seats for VIP pass to access and join our Be Bold investing community. This community is where dreams of real estate domination come to reality and your journey to financial freedom kicks into overdrive. If you're tired of working endless hours at your 9 to 5, or you have lazy capital sitting around and have zero clue on how to get it to work for you, then I highly recommend you check out our community and join today so you can stop trading time for money. Start getting your dollars to work for you while you sleep. Here's what you're going to get when you join today. You will get to connect with seasoned pros every single week, gaining valuable insights and guidance to propel your real estate ventures forward. You'll get access to exclusive strategies and tactics used by top investors to secure lucrative deals and maximize profits. Whether you're stuck on a deal or facing a hurdle, our community offers real-time solutions and support to help you overcome obstacles and keep your investments on track. Get ready to forge meaningful connections with like-minded investors who will open doors to potential partnerships and collaborations that fuel your success into financial freedom. Did I forget to mention that you'll also get access to customized pitch decks to foolproof guides for mastering Airbnb and Padsplit properties, along with real market time updates and expert tips for maximizing profits. Our community provides a wealth of resources to empower your journey to real estate success. Plus, you'll get free access to these exclusive resources worth thousands of dollars in future training resources. The B&B Accelerator, the new Padsplit mini course, the Mac Daddy Vault, Digital Marketing Mastery, and even a $1 million vault. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Join us today and start getting your dollars to work for you while you sleep. All this for $47 a month? Don't miss out. Secure your spot now by clicking the link below. See you on the other side. Let's get back to the video. Yeah. I would say about 2.25.
Okay.
2.25. So I'm going to start my rooms higher. 2.25. Where I'll probably start this room at. And then I'll let that marinate for like 2-3 weeks. Now, based on Padsplit statistics, and there's a lot of variables to this, guys, when I'm about to say this. They say 30 days to reach 80% occupancy. I have found that false. Let me tell you why. And I'll deep dive on this on another video. My Jacksonville property, I've had it on the market active as a Padsplit for like almost 60 days, and I only have 3 rooms booked. Now, it depends on the room, the market that you're in. And so when I did my underwriting, I thought I would have that thing like literally like 100% booked by now. I know eventually it will book up to 90 to 100%, but that market is a lot slower. There's a lot more competition, and price per room in that market, the average price per room in that market's like 170, 180.
So
right?
where is it? Is it near the house?
That's in Jacksonville.
Right, in Jacksonville. Is
Oh
it
yeah.
near the hospitals and everything?
Mine is South Jacksonville. So if you're familiar with the naval bases and all that, yes. So I'm just west of there. Beautiful neighborhood. I have tons of restaurants, shopping, everything. I'm right next to everything. In a 1 mile radius, there's 10 bus stops. So it's not a proximity problem. It's not a pricing problem. Like, I've deep dove on that property. And again, I'm going to go further into that. I'm going to actually make a whole separate video because that property is not occupying to where I thought it was going to be, right? So it's important to know your market. This Palm Coast property, I'm actually a guinea pig for this market. Because remember, guess one thing I don't have. Even though I have the parking out here, there's no bus stops around here. There is no bus system. There's no transit. But here's one thing I consider. If you go right here, literally I can throw a rock. Right there, that sidewalk takes you to the main area, 2.5 miles that way. So somebody can scooter, bike, they can Uber, they can walk, whatever.
Parking.
Right, and I have the parking. So what did I do? I thought about this. I was like, I need to make sure that this property is adequate parking because remember, my avatar member is gonna most likely have a vehicle.
Right.
So I need to be able to house these many people with vehicles. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but again, I'm really right here. 95 is right here. I have all the major stuff like Walmart, BJ's is coming up, Ale House, If you go to the main area down here in Palm Coast, their little downtown, whatever they call it, their city center or whatever it's called, you'll see there's tons of shopping over there. Tons of shopping, retail, employment, all that stuff over there. Okay? You didn't get to? Huh?
And they're just adding to it.
They're just adding to it. Exactly. No, it's only growing. Like he's from Daytona. What I feel like St. Augustine and Daytona is all pushing this way. Like it's all pushing in the middle, because we're like the least. We're like the least developed, out of all these, right? You guys are a lot more developed, and so is St. Augustine's a lot more developed. So let's talk about bathroom real quick. So how the bathroom works, guys, is these rooms right here, there is no assigned bathroom. People get to pick what bathroom is available at the time that they need to use the bathroom, right? And so when you're doing the bathrooms, guys, you want to think again about congregating. Like typically you don't want to have a bathtub because somebody's going to think they're at the Four Seasons in a bubble bath and stuff like that. Now, remember, I would do a shower instead. Now, for me as the investor, I'm not going to rip out that tub and invest into putting a shower pan in there and doing a shower. I'm just going to keep it as is, and that's it, right? As disputes come up, we will handle them as they come. But like you'll see the other bathroom, what I'm doing something for the other bathroom because there's a huge garden soaker tub in there. So I'm actually disconnecting the plumbing on that, so no one can use it. But they have a shower to use. See what I'm saying? Now, people will probably reach out and say, oh, the soaker tub's not working. But as members live in here, and the cool thing about it is even though that we're very thorough about giving these people a welcome email, telling them about the property, telling them how the house codes work, telling them about how they need to replace the lock batteries every 3.5 to 4 months so they don't die on them, so they're not locked out. We have a really nice welcome package that we give them, but people don't read. But the cool thing about it is as members live in the home longer, they will actually communicate with one another and say, hey, look, oh, this is the laundry room. Oh, this is how the bathroom works. So they actually kind of like do all the hard work and educating for me instead of me saying, hey, them reaching out to me. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So this is how the bathrooms work. And so they'll get to all use this one bathroom on this, okay? This room right here is an existing bedroom as well.
You rent out this closet?
No. So I have a strategy behind linen closets and stuff like that. So this is an existing closet here. With closets, actually, it's a good question because I have one of my properties I'm doing a test run on. With Padsplit, to increase your NOI, they actually allow you can actually rent out closet spaces. You can actually rent out storage spaces. So I have all my closets numbered on one of my properties and I'm doing a test run. So I let my members know that I have closets available if they need extra storage. Remember, if people get emotional about where they're staying because they have their items there, they really like it, they're a lot less likely to move. It's kind of like the storage unit business. A lot of their big avatars are renters who don't have the excess storage at the current primary residence that they're living in. So if I can get people to put their items in here, then they might be here a lot longer. Now, the only caveat you want to think about with that is, and this is just me in the investor mindset of me thinking, is when people bring their items in, it can have infestations in them. Like, for instance, roaches, German roaches. That's a transporter bug. I know I'm getting a little in depth into bugs, but I know a lot about bugs because I'm an investor. So people can bring in, infestations to your home. So you want to think about, is it really worth you making that extra $20 to $30 a month for you to have an infestation in your home, right? So I just try to mitigate as much as possible, but I am playing with it with another property, see how it works out and see what people think, because I have a huge garage and it's like a 30 by 20. And what I did was I did storage racks and I numbered the storage racks and I'm renting out per rack. I haven't had anybody bite on it, but I have had a couple members. They have showed interest and they have told me that they do want to rent it out. Okay. So if you
open storage, not locked, closed.
This one is open storage, numbered by item, and then in that storage compartment area, I do have a camera in that area. It's not in the home. Yes, exactly. So who's stealing? Who's using it? Who's not using it? Stuff like that. So we are monitoring that stuff like that. So my VAs are doing that on that stuff. So it's up to you if you want to rent out storage. But again, you just have to ask yourself, do you want infestation?
You potentially do like a wall and make it like a locker system.
Yeah, you can. And so with the linen closets, what I did on my other property, that I have literally 8 storage rentals there. I have linen closets with numbers on them, with lock boxes on them. If they want to rent that, they can rent it out, and then I'll give them the access through the lockbox code. Or you can put electric lock on the door and have them use electric lock. I always try to do everything keyless because you don't want people to lose keys. Right. Okay. Again, I did the lockbox because the lockbox cost me $10 and it's more of a test thing to see how it works out versus me spend $50, $60 on a lock. And I already had the lockbox and the number already. You see what I'm saying? So I didn't want to spend the extra cost. And I know it's like penny pinching a little bit, but when you're spending 50, 60 grand, if I can save $10, $20 here, I'm going to go ahead and save $10, $20 here. You see what I'm saying? Yep. So that's for the linen closet there. This area right here is going to have a table. I'll have like a 5-seater table.
Do you try to have seating for, like, you have 7 rooms, you try to have 7 seats, or do you just shoot for
No,
whatever table?
because the likelihood of them having a Thanksgiving dinner together is not likely. That's not likely. It's just not going to happen, right?
You're not encouraging.
No, well, it's not even really the encouragement thing. It's just most people on Padsplit, they work 2 jobs. They're in and out. This is a house for them to lay their head down. They're not here for long hours. They're usually outside of the home, working hard, 2 jobs to be able to pay bills. Right, to store up some money and pay bills. A lot of these people are in a transition phase, or maybe they're saving to buy a home. You know, it could be all different walks of life. You know, it could be a contractor maybe has a huge contract around here, and there's some workers, right? Stuff like that. You know, but what I have found, it's typically in the areas that I'm in, it's all local people. I haven't had, a contractor reach out and say, hey, I'm working here for 7 months. Can I book a room? You know?
So do you have someone marketing to does Padsplit do the marketing?
Yeah.
To get them, or you?
So what Padsplit does is they do the background check, credit check, employment verification. They also do all the marketing. Last time I checked, they're spending $500,000 a month on marketing. Where do they market? They market on Instagram. If you go today, like if you're going online and just type in bedroom rentals, you can see the algorithm starting to follow you around on Google. You can see it starting to follow you around on Facebook. You can see it starting to follow you around on Instagram. You can even see it starting to follow you around on YouTube. So they're doing marketing on all these sites to curate that member, right? So they'll have like promos. What I've seen, a recent promo was win $5,000 or a Visa gift card for $100. So they're enticing these consumers to sign up on their platform. Now, when they sign up on their platform, it's my understanding, and I tell people to do this, I haven't done this yet, you can sign up as a consumer to see what the interface looks like, right? See what the qualification process looks like. It kind of gives you a better idea. I haven't done it yet, but I know other people have.
I ask because there's certain places where jobs that are cyclical. Every year on Medical Row in Orlando, every June and July, all the residents change.
Yep.
Okay? So
correct.
we used to do that at the Grand, and you
yep.
would know you could mark it down in the cafeteria at Advent Health or whatever.
Yep.
So there are places that have cyclical jobs. Any
yep.
university has different yearly things.
So so Matt asked me on the way here, he's like, hey, can you market your property? Does Padsplist have like a link or something you can market your property? When you go on the promo tab on the dashboard, they have a promotion tab. They actually generate a flyer for you with a QR code on it. And you can actually put that in hospitals, or you can put it wherever you want. You can put it on Facebook, stuff like that. I have put them on Facebook.
Or first-time home buyers.
Yeah, exactly.
This is ideal for people,
right.
First-time
right.
students and stuff.
Right. This is ideal for anybody who needs a transitioning period. This is not a forever solution. This is for somebody who's like, hey, I'm saving up to buy a home. I don't want to put first, last, and security. Or maybe, hey, I'm a person who I can't qualify for first, last, and security or 3 times the rent. I just can't get into those homes. It's too expensive. Somebody who's in a transitioning period in their life. Somebody needs a stepping stone. Again, going on the Padsplit statistic, they're saying 7 to 9 months is the average retention rate for someone to stay in a bedroom. 7 to 9 months. Okay? So, all right, check this out. So this is another room, and I think, Andrew, you're like, oh, dude, I didn't see the vision of this room before yet. So just imagine, guys, and I'm just trying to give you guys the vision, right? This room right here is a room that had no walls, no nothing. There was nothing. Literally, this was part of the living room. So this is where you make your money on Padsplit. You make your money by taking the dead, empty spaces that would be collecting dust and turning them into bedrooms. So this right here is going to be a premium bedroom. 1, because of size. 2, because of the bed size I'm going to have. I'm going to have a queen in here as well. I'm going to have a ceiling fan in here as well. I have the reach-in closet. And guess what? This person has access to their own porch. I'm actually going to put some patio furniture out here. And so they'll have access to their own private porch.
In the backyard?
They'll have access to the backyard if they want to walk out there too. This won't be locked. So they can walk out there if they want. Anybody can walk out there, but these other members, they have to walk out the front door to get to the back of there. So this individual can actually go out there and enjoy a cup of coffee or read and stuff like that. So I'm actually showcasing this property on Padsplit. What I'm doing is I do a floor plan of the property, right? A blueprint, showing them what they get when they book this unit. Now you can also they also give you an opportunity to do the Matterport. You can actually upload a Matterport link into there. The only problem I've seen with that, and I haven't found it, maybe you guys know, the Matterport sites that these photographers house that link on, they only allow it for like 30 or 45 days and then they eliminate that. I haven't found one that says, hey, I won't charge you. I had a guy try to charge me like, I don't know, it was like 20 bucks a month for the Matterport link, right? To keep it active. I don't know if there's a free site, somebody might know, but if somebody knows, please let me know, or if any of the viewers drop a comment below, let me know. But the Matterport allows that person to actually walk through the property as well. You know, you're very familiar with Matterport because you're a realtor. You guys are probably also familiar with Matterports. But when you're showcasing your properties, invest in a professional photography, right? It's just like, you know the value of professional photography. You know the value of professional photography. You have to showcase your property. People shop with their eyeballs. I was at a Padsplit panel I spoke on the other day. I think you were there. Yep. One guy's doing little triangles on the corner of his pictures talking about like, he's got like a Roku TV, he's got queen bed. He puts all the amenities like just on the corner of each picture. So when they're scrolling through, it's just kind of an extra marketing piece reminding them, right? Remember, a confused buyer never buys. So we want to make sure that these people end up knowing what they're getting, and it's very quick. They understand. We live in a society, everything's on demand. Think about Amazon. Think about Uber. Think about Uber Eats, right?
So do these all have TVs in them?
Yes, they will. Now, this is another thing I played with. My last property doesn't have TVs. I didn't do any TVs, and for people who've been watching my content for a while, you'll see on some of my content I mentioned not putting TVs in the property. For two reasons. One, because of noise, but I'm starting to add TVs. As I see that this is a business model that more people are getting into it and it's going to get more competitive over time, I always have to think of uniqueness. How do I stand out? So I will add TVs in every single one of these bedrooms. These walls, again, that you guys are standing right behind are all soundproofed. I didn't just soundproof that front one. Every single wall that I put up, especially the ones that are adjoining right here, I don't want Bob on the other end of this room and then Susie on this room and then she can hear him playing his YouTube videos. Yeah, exactly. My very first property, I also didn't do TVs as well. What I did notice though, the members were actually buying and bringing their own TVs in, which I was totally fine with. That could save you costs as the operator. But the only downfall about that is when you go to market the property on Padsplit, you might not be able to market as well as Susie down the road who has a Padsplit as well, right? So you might want to go ahead and do that as your initial investment.
So did you get a higher speed internet when you put that
Yeah,
TV?
I do on mine, I do 500 megabytes on mine. So I haven't had any issues. Now, typically the internet companies will say, oh, how many devices do you have? And they're always going to upsell you. And they want to sell you on the phone package. And they want to sell you in the cable package, this and that. I have had no problem with 500 at all my properties, you know? Yeah, just internet. I don't do cable because everything is streaming these days. Streaming services like Roku, you could do Roku TVs and get in each room, and then that's another upsell you could put in your marketing is like, hey, I have Roku TV or I have Samsung TV or whatever type of smart TV you have, put it in there so people know what they're getting. Okay? So anyway, so if Susie Q's in this bedroom, she gets this big old porch, which I'm going to put furniture in this. My last property, by the way, I have a room just like this. I didn't put furniture in the porch. Remember, as I'm going through this, and I've done as many rooms as I've done as many properties I've done, I'm playing with things. I'm seeing what works, what doesn't work. Again, me going into this, and I want to stand out, I want to be able to market and showcase somebody that, hey, look, hey, can you imagine yourself having a cup of coffee in this big old bedroom, right? Like,
this is like an apartment.
Yeah, it's like an apartment, right? Exactly. It's like an apartment, right? So they get all this. Another thing you might notice too, we're blocking this off. This will look a lot cleaner and finished. We're not allowing people to use the fireplace. I don't want people to start burning logs in here and they get, no, it ain't gonna happen.
So can I take those logs with me?
Yeah, you can take those logs with you. Yeah, if you have a fireplace, you guys want these, seriously. If somebody wants these, they can take these. Yeah, they can take these with you. And then every single room, every single property, I do ceiling fans at every single one of them. These ceiling fans will get replaced. I typically don't like to do the ones with the remotes. I do ones without remotes. Some of these ones do have remotes. Yeah, it's a lot less things that go wrong. Some of these do have remotes though. I think only 3 of these ones have remotes just because the ceiling fans are a little higher. So I had to think about like if somebody can't reach the cord and stuff like that because this is vaulted ceilings. My other properties are flat roofs, right? So yeah, so some of them you will see remote, so that's 100% upsell, and really, honestly, it don't really cost that much more. My contractor, he pretty much threw like I'm doing a lot of work with him, he's pretty much throwing in closets for me as a freebie. Like he's doing a lot of stuff for me because I'm doing back-to-back projects with him. So if you can keep your contractors a lot busier and you're staying in a dense market and you're not being like me where I have properties in Orlando, I got properties in Jacksonville, I got properties in Palm Coast, all my properties are very far away. If you want to think about this with single family, try to have density in your portfolio. Right? That way you can keep the same crews, you can keep an eye on your properties better, you can manage your properties better, everything just flows a lot better. For me, I'm okay with doing this in different markets. So
This has no HOA.
No. I don't invest in HOAs. Okay, going back to my buy box. A lot of people don't even have a buy box. For my buy box, I don't buy anything HOA. I will never buy anything HOA. You can take someone like a Pace Morby. He buys tons of properties in HOA, but he does long-term rental. Okay, he has a different vision with the properties in the HOA. I personally don't like HOAs. If I'm going to do long-term rental, I still will not buy an HOA. I don't buy anything in HOAs. I hate HOAs. They're just too strict. Especially you get into condos. I know you're a condo owner. You have a lot in the condos. Yeah, special assessments. That's another conversation. Right. So, but yeah. So this room right here, again. The one behind me right here. I'm going to start that one. By the way, just so you know, I'm going to start that one probably around like the 250 range. Try to squeeze 250, might even try to market at 260. Again, this is a new market. There's no pad splits. I'm very competitive. There's no studios. There's no 1-bedroom apartments. Like there's just nothing in this area. But there are a lot of residents. Again, going back to what I said earlier, what do I know about this area? I know there's 100,000 residents. I know the biggest employers, which are the hospitals, Publix, the school system, school board is the biggest employers. So see how I know data about this market? It helps me make a decision, a sound decision on my investment. It helps keep confidence, even though that a lot of things that I'm talking about are hypotheticals, and I don't like to talk about hypotheticals. I like to talk about real life scenarios. But again, this is a guinea pig property, and to me, the way I look at it is with 5,000 residents that they have here in Palm Coast, there has to be at least 7 people that freaking need a freaking bedroom rental, right? So that's just the way I look at it. Yeah, so what are my odds? I always look at my odds, right? So kitchen's pretty straightforward, guys. This will be a fully furnished kitchen, and what I mean by fully furnished, it's gonna have plates, bowls, spoons, microwave, all the major appliances. Everything right here will be community. Going back to what I said earlier, I always try to eliminate as much people coming into this kitchen as much as possible. A lot of these rooms are going to have mini fridges in them, if not all of them. They're going to have mini fridges in them. They don't have to worry about.
So they're going to keep their stuff in there so no one steals it.
Correct. So then no one steals it, no one fights, but people can still use this. Now, if you're doing bigger properties like this, you can also do a second fridge and another full-size fridge and somewhere in the house that people have access to, if you want. So this will all be fully furnished. Now I have seen other pad split hosts. What I'm starting to see a lot of people talk about is colored plates per bedroom. So what they'll do is they'll open up these cabinets, they'll number them. So if you have room number 1, you got cabinet number 1, and those green plates are yours. If you have room number 2, you have the red plates over here, and your cabinet is over here. Now the reason why they do that is to see who left dishes in the sink. But my thing is like, if Bob comes in here, who says he doesn't grab a green plate out of Johnny's? Thing. You know, like, you know,
Well, if there's men living here, that will happen.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Huh?
Keep your utensils.
Yeah, yes, you can do that. But again, this person, yeah, you're talking about bugs as well. Like, again, people are still going to break rules. The way I look at that is, what stops somebody else from using somebody else's, utensils? And that's the only reason I have
a camera up there, but
but you can't have cameras inside. So, but yeah, what's
Communication with each other, like they have their own group chat going on.
yeah, they do have their own group chat, but no one's.
Do you have cameras outside?
Oh, heck yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we keep an eye on everything. I want to make sure my people are parking in the right spot. I want to make sure that they're taking the trash out on the road. Like having cameras on your property day one from when you close on the property, the first thing you should be doing is cameras. Why? Because guess what? When you hire your contractors, are they showing up every day? Right? People, yeah, exactly. So is your supplies coming? Do you have supplies sitting out? Do you have packages sitting out by the doorway? Like, you need to know what's going on around your property at all times. or water, internet, and your cameras. That way you have eyeballs on your property. And I use Ring, by the way. I'm in the Ring ecosphere. I have 1 million Ring cameras. I'm like their biggest customer. I'm not even kidding. Like, it's crazy. They're $10 a property a month, so I just include it in my operating expenses. Eufy is another good one. A lot of people like to use Eufy. I heard they don't have fees, so.
I'll tell you right now.
Arlo, Euro,
I use Eufy.
Eufy, yeah, Eufy, yep, yeah, I know about Eufy. Actually, I want to touch on one other thing too. When I take my properties down, you'll notice all the cosmetics in here are updated. Like, you know this kitchen? I didn't do this kitchen. Remember, I'm talking about marketing again. When I take my pictures, people see there's a nice kitchen, they get a nice room, they kind of have a general area where it's at, it's walking, like, see, like all these things are upsales. It's not like just a dated kitchen. So one of the things I'm looking for as an investor, and I always think about like, right, things I don't have to fix, less CapEx, roof plumbing, electrical AC, the hearts and lungs of the property. How are these things, how old are they, right?
Looks like a pretty new property. How old is
It's 1990.
Really?
Yeah, 1990.
And the roof?
The roof is, this is a 50-year-old roof, and this roof's 1990 as well. Okay, it's got about 16, 17 years of useful life.
Is it shingle or?
And no, it's tile,
ceramic? Okay.
tile. It's a tile roof. I'm not a big fan of tile roofs either, by the way, just so you know. One, they're more prone to leaks, okay?
Well, it depends who put it
Yeah,
on.
well, they're more prone to leaks. They're more expensive. Yeah, longevity-wise, yeah, they last longer, but they're just a lot more prone to leaks. Same thing with these skylights, more prone to leaks. I know these things. For me buying this property, I'm totally fine with it. When I go to re-roof this house, I'm actually switching it to shingle, but I won't do that for 10, 15 years if I have the property at that point. You as the investors, guys, you guys always want to think, what is worst case scenario? What happens if this pad split doesn't work out, guys? You need to have a second exit strategy. You cannot just count on one. You always want to say, okay, do I break even on the long-term rental market? Can I Airbnb? Can I do a wraparound mortgage? What can I do other than pad split just in case shit goes south?
All of a sudden, yeah, what do you do with a 7-bedroom house? With
Well, no, so I can do several things. One, I can actually market this as long-term rental, right? Somebody might be really appealing as a family, because remember, this house is still functional, right? They could still have a small little living room, and if I go on the market right now, this property as a 3-2 would rent for about $2,200 a month, $2,300 a month long-term rental. Right? If I now can market and open up to 7 bedrooms on the long-term rental market, probably can charge about 26, 27, cover my PITI and break even on the property. If the property for me as an investor where I'm at in my investing career, if I'm breaking even on a property, I'm a happy camper. My Jacksonville property, going back to that, I'm only at 3 rooms right now renting that property. It's covering all the costs. I'm gonna deep dive a little bit later in this and talk about that property even more, so for people who are watching. But that property's, right now, it's not making me any money. It's breaking even, it's covering my costs. I'm still a happy camper because I still get loan pay down, I get tax depreciation, I get future leverage. I get all these, and I can keep going on. I get all these benefits of owning that piece of real estate. So I'm okay with breaking even. I'm just gonna add it. But somebody for you, you might say, you know what? Cash flow is important to me, Javier. So every person here has a different part of the journey they're on. So ask yourself and be clear, where are you at in the journey? And understand what you're looking for. Clarity is so super important. I see people trying to do way too many things, and they're just not good at anything, and they're not taking action on anything at a high level. So make sure you're doubling down on one thing only, until you really understand multiple exits. So now when I'm looking at my properties, I can look at them and say, hey, what exit strategy does this property work for? I want at least 2 out of all my exit strategies, right? Airbnb, wraparound mortgage. Am I going to do long-term rental? Am I going to do pad split? You know, I have all these different exits that I have, and I have all these different tools in my tool belt that I can execute at a high level. See? So, but this is the kitchen, and I only buy properties with updated like kitchens and stuff like that because I don't want CapEx in my. So remember, right now, my initial operating cost, my initial acquisition, pad split renovation, furnishings, holding costs, factor in at least 3 months of holding costs, guys. You know, especially if you're not as, like somebody like me, I'm doing a lot of these projects. My quickest project just yet is 39 days from the time I closed. That means 39 days from the time I closed till I've got it on Padsplit.
That's pretty fast.
That's pretty fast. So imagine you guys. You guys probably aren't going to be as systematic as I am, you know? So after your first 1 or 2, until you really get the grasp of things, you might want to be more hands-on and at the properties. You can ask Matt. I don't ever come to these properties. my teams are running these. I'm literally here. One, I check on the property today and I get to shoot content with you guys. And not only a content piece, I get to give back and show you guys what it looks like walking around on a pad split. See what I'm saying? So I'm knocking out, multiple birds, one stone, right? So remember that you're looking at those things, and that's super, super important. Okay? No. We walked 1, 2, 5. Just so people don't get confused. Yep.
6 with the kitchen.
Yeah, 6 with the kitchen. Yep. All right. So this room right here that you guys are walking into is the master bedroom, and this was the master. So what did I do here, guys? How did I eliminate this from being a master and people can use that bathroom?
Put up this wall.
Put up this wall, which is going to have a door.
Okay.
Right? And the original door is right behind this door, which we got rid of already. We already got rid of it. You see that?
Yeah.
So no one can lock it, close it. The person living here can't say, oh, that bathroom's for me. No one else can use it. So this room, again, is going to be a premium room. It's going to have got a big closet. So this room right here, yes, big walk-in closet. So, and with California closets, right? It's nice. This room right here is going to be in the $250 range, the $250 a week range. I'm going to try to get $1,000 a month out of these bedrooms, but this is going to have the same thing: mini fridge, a desk. It's going to have all the everything is going to be top end. Like, we're going to make it look real nice. They got a lot of nice natural lighting. The bathroom is really close to them. And going back to the bathroom conversation, this person, if this bathroom is being used, they can go across the hall to go use the other bathroom. There's no assigned bathrooms in this type of model. Some people might do it, but I haven't heard of anybody doing assigned bathrooms, okay? But yeah, so what you're doing when you walk your floor plan, one of the things you're doing as you acquire these properties, the challenging part is, how do you get people to the master actual bathroom? How do you get the traffic in there without obstructing this so much? So the way I did it on this one was simply just adding the doorway. Now on my other properties, I had to build a whole entire hallway. Taking that whole, like that room size down another 5 foot, right? Taking it away. That made sense? Does that make sense? Yeah.
Like
So,
the bathrooms over there, you're having to get up.
yeah, I have to make an access point, and now then when you do that as well, then you also have to think about recessed lighting, because when you add walls in a small area like that, in a confined space, you have to add recessed lighting because you're not going to be able to see anything. It's going to be very dark.
Yeah.
So you have to think about that. So think about these things. HVAC, did I have to move any HVAC? Here, guess what? Didn't have to move any HVAC. See how I got away with this working still? Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. This is the same square footage. When you're doing this as well, make sure you have the adequate AC system for your property. So you'll see as we go into the garage, on my last property, I actually had the adequate AC and I hooked up that garage to the central HVAC system. But this property, I did something a little different. I used a mini split system. And we'll talk about that in a second once we go in there, okay? But here, look, just added this. Now this room is one room, and they still have their AC blowing real cold. They have their walk-in closet, and they're good to go.
You could actually rent that out.
You can actually rent that out. I know. Yeah.
Murphy bed.
Yeah.
How worried about like final touches are you on a lot of stuff? Like, were you adding the drywall in the ceiling? You're not going back and texturing that, or you are?
Oh yeah. No. All that would be complete.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Everything. So basically, my team, what they'll do is they'll make it to where it doesn't ever look like any type of conversion happened.
Okay.
So all that stuff will be complete. Painted, finished. Right now what they're going to do, they're actually going to be here today, but they're like, they had to do sanding today.
Yeah.
So they couldn't do sanding while we're here because we wouldn't be able to breathe. But they're going to come through today. They're going to sand down all the drywall tape. They're going to do that texture. They're going to let that cure for 2-3 days, and they're going to come in here and paint.
Sweet.
So here is what I'm talking about, guys. What do you feel like when you walk into this bathroom? What do you feel like you want to do? You want to relax?
Relax.
You want? Me too. I want to rip it out too. Yeah.
I hate these things.
Yeah, me too. I do too, and I agree with you too. But
What's that? What's that?
that's just another bedroom. I mean, no, sorry. No. This is just I don't know. It's just a waste of space.
Huge waste of space.
A huge waste of space. But again, to me, I'm not going to do anything with it. It doesn't make sense for me to renovate, remove, knock down. It doesn't all that stuff. I'm just going to keep it as is. I'm going to disconnect
Or disconnect it and
I am.
put the plywood over and paint the plywood and make it just a big.
Yeah, no, I'm not even. I'm just going to disconnect the plumbing. It's from a cost perspective, it's way easier. Way easier, way cheaper, and it's just gonna look aesthetically pretty. That's it. So they can come in here and they can use the shower. So each side or each bedroom, they can use whatever shower that they want. Okay? And then the toilet is in there. They can use that as well. That linen closet will be locked, so not anybody can just use that. I could probably put that. People can use 2 toilets. So Matt, come here real quick.
It's a group event.
Yeah. Hey, so Matt, so the way I mitigate my foot traffic in my bathrooms, guys, is what I'm doing is right now there's a toilet right here and there's a bidet here. But guess what I'm doing? I'm actually removing that and I'm going to put another toilet on there so people can use the toilets together. What a brilliant idea. Come on, why aren't they talking about this stuff in Padsplit?
That's the clip that's going to go viral.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
All right, so far we've seen 6 rooms. Phone blowing up. What do you want? No, I'm just kidding. Washer and dryer, pretty straightforward. Actually, let's touch on this real quick. Make sure when you're doing your properties, you're adding smart thermostats. They don't get to touch the thermostats. They cannot control it. Depending on the season, the time of year, it will adjust itself, okay? I usually use Nest or I use Honeywell. Those are the two brands that I use. This house, when I bought it, cool things where I saved money on. Again, I know this is not big stuff. It already has the exact locks that I use from the front door for my properties. And then it already has the thermostat, which I use for my properties. This security system, going away, not using it, okay? I don't put security systems other than Ring cameras on my properties. But make sure you get the smart thermostats. That way you can monitor the thermostat. And not only that, you can see the usage at the end of the month, which is really cool. You can see how much your AC is running. And then I always set it to where it doesn't go below 73. 73 is the climate that it always stays at. Okay? Yeah.
My house is like 68.
Yeah. Well, so again, I try to have that happy medium. If someone starts complaining and they complain a lot, remember, you want people to be comfortable. I have found at my other properties, I'm not kidding you, and this is up through multiple properties, through multiple rooms, I haven't had one person complain at 73.
Yeah.
I'm not going to touch it. The lower it goes, the more money it costs me.
Right.
You know, I'm paying for the electric bill.
Yep.
So that's like one of your biggest things that
Right.
runs up the electric bill every month is your AC. These individuals typically aren't cooking. They're getting Uber Eats.
Yep.
So they're not really utilizing the kitchen that much. Okay? All right, so this is the laundry room, pretty straightforward. All right, so
This is the garage.
yeah, this was the garage. We'll move into the bedroom here.
This is giant,
So yeah, it's very big. Okay.
but there's no air in here.
There's no air in here,
Oh,
not
mini
yet.
split.
There's going to be a mini split. Yep. So what happened is the garage door, just to give you guys a vision, swung this way, and we took the tracks off. Okay. Remember, when you put walls up, recessed lighting. We're adding fans and recessed lighting in the garage. Now, this is typically a bigger room. I was actually going to do 2 bedrooms out of this garage. Going back to what I said, my mindset, being that I've been doing this for some time now, has changed. I'm now going to bigger bedrooms and wanting to have my retention rate and offer a little bit nicer amenities versus going just chopping them up, making them feel like prison cells. So that window right there and that window, what I was going to do is I was going to run a wall down this middle and then have a door here and a door here. Instead of having that, I'm going to have I'm doing 1 big bedroom. We're going to put a mini split system in here, which is a 12,000 BTU, which is adequate for this space here. That flooring right there will get installed. We're doing the baseboards. This room, you want to be able to tell. It looks just like it's from the house. Now that hallway there that is behind this wall, remember that we had to add recessed lighting because now it got dark in there. Now, my air from in here isn't going to reach in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to tap into the return there, the air handler there, and what we're going to add is we're going to add a vent and it'll blow cold air into that hallway. Okay. This room, I'm still kind of toying around what I want to do with it. I was thinking about adding like a bigger TV and maybe like a
King size bed.
well, yes, for sure a king size bed. But again, you want to go back to does the person feel like they can invite somebody over? Now, A king size bed, absolutely. I have been toying with the idea. I haven't had done a king size bed at any of my properties, but I'm thinking about doing it for this one. But I'm also thinking about like maybe running like a bigger TV, like a 60-inch down here, and like put a small couch in it, and then put like a coffee table right in front of it.
And make it a full studio.
Right, pretty much. Now I'll show you on the other side of this wall. I was thinking about doing like a little kitchenette there, like a microwave, cabinets, countertop, you know, just a small, like a 4-foot one. But I was thinking also cost, I mean, we're talking about $3,000, $4,500. Is it really going to get me that much more for the bedroom, right? So I look at that perspective as well. And to be honest with you, this person, like, how much value are they going to see out of that? Are they really going to utilize it? I feel like with the Uber Eats and all that, and as much as these individuals are going out to eat, and the data that I physically have by seeing how much food they're bringing in the homes from Uber Eats, or they're getting Uber Eats to bring to the homes, I don't feel like this person would get a whole bunch out of that, right? It's one individual. Typically when you're single, you're one individual, you get food out to eat, and or you do microwave foods. It's, you know, quick stuff. So this room, I'm thinking about making a little premium. What do you guys think? Do you think I should do the little, what do my viewers think? Drop a comment below and let me know what you guys think. Do you think this room should be, what's that?
You're gonna do it in the hallway space? Or
No, I was thinking about, what do you think if I did a king bed in here and then I did a bigger TV with like a small little sofa with a coffee table?
That's a good
I
one.
think that's good.
That's a good. Yeah.
Is there a microwave with a small little refrigerator?
Yeah, for sure. There'll be a microwave in here. There will be not a microwave. I will put a mini fridge in here for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes, no, yes.
Yes.
Everybody thinks yes?
I said yes.
Go for it.
Yeah?
Test it for us.
Test it for us? Yeah. So I'm the guinea pig on this, so I might make that
You
investment.
know, I see a lot of in retail residential where they have big bedrooms that are going to end up being a kid's room.
Yep.
They do just that.
Yep.
They put a little sitting area.
Yep.
I can tell you as a mother, when I lived in Windermere,
Yeah.
my daughter had over 3-car garage, and she had 2 completely different sitting areas.
Yeah.
And she loved it. I know she was little, she could have friends over, but an individual will like not to have to lay on their bed all the time.
Yeah. Again, I go back to I always think like, does this individual want to invite people over because they have their own space, right? Other people over. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, I might try it out because here's the thing. If I go a queen bed in here and not a king, it's going to make the place is going to feel still big, right? You need to fill the room up with some, it's going to feel, So I could probably do like their own little kitchen table, you know, like a 2-seater, and then make it more of like a studio style is what I'm thinking for this bedroom. Reach-in closet there as well, guys. 2 forms of egress because technology malfunctions, okay? So make sure you have all your lock boxes in one central location. And my other properties, what I do is I have a little what I call lockbox room. All lockbox rooms or lockboxes hide in that area, and it's very simple. I made it very simple for them. When they go to the lockbox room, they can see the number of their room, and it'll be numbered on their lockbox. So if they're in room 1, it's lockbox number 1. So they're not fishing for it, right? They're not freaking out. And then in the internal notes, my VAs, because I have a VA team, 3 VAs that run all my customer support, they can see the lockbox code for that lockbox. So at 3 in the morning, I'm just using that as a scenario because this will happen. They can actually give them that lockbox code if they need it. Now, another cool thing about Padsplit that they do, and they don't manage the property, but Padsplit does have a 24-hour support number where if my VAs weren't responding, they can call the 24-hour support number and say, hey, I can't get in my bedroom. And as long as we leave internal notes on the dashboard, they can say, hey, try code 123. Oh, you're in room 1? Try code 123. Boom, and they can help them and utilize them getting in the room. So that's a cool thing. But they don't manage the property. They just will help out when they can if the customer has issues, right? For instance, certain members have had issues with other hosts not responding for days. I had a guy at one of my other properties. He messaged us. He was having trouble getting in the front door. My team responds within minutes, if not seconds. And I'm not kidding you. Like quick, very quick.
So your VAs, they have floor plans of
Yes.
each place?
Yes.
And they've got all the technical stuff.
SOPs, standard operating
Have they
procedures.
they've never been here?
They've never been here. They're overseas, Pakistan.
Right, okay.
My VAs are out of Pakistan. They've never been here. They have floor plan. They have all the pictures. They on the dashboard on Padsplit. They're as a manager, so they can see the whole entire interface of everything.
Okay.
There's nothing hidden. The more information my VAs have, the better. I also, if there's ever something in my SOP that we don't have in the SOP, I'll make a video on it right away. Because I don't want my VAs bugging me, right? This last thing I see is like, if I see they're asking me a question I have never answered, I'm making a Loom video on it. Hey, put this in the spreadsheet. And they'll add it. And now the next time they know how to combat that issue. So every once in a while we get hit with a curveball. Maybe I don't have an SOP because I'm not a perfect person, right? And so we'll just add that as we go, okay? One other thing I want to mention, the door she's standing behind. Now another thing that I can make this a premium room, and I'm probably not going to do it just because, again, I want to stay around that $50,000 to $60,000 mark. This door goes to the side of the house. I can actually make a little walkway connecting all the way to the driveway, and now this person has a private entrance.
All right.
Do you guys think I should make a private entrance?
Depends
Make a
what-
comment? Yes?
What's it cost?
We all just
To
want
bring
Yeah, go ahead.
people up.
I mean, you could do it with pavers.
I could do it with pavers, exactly. I could do a little paver or make it super simple, super cheap.
I think I have enough pavers for you.
You do?
I think so.
Yeah, I think that would make a huge difference.
Private entrance?
So what's your difference? Like, what do you?
Then that
I'm
would,
in.
this would become the premium
What are you
room.
gonna
I haven't even priced it out. What do you think cost? $1,500?
And it's close to the biggest bathroom.
It's close to the biggest bathroom. They can use the private entrance if they want. I'll probably, I really want to push this more than $250 a week. $250 a week. I could probably try at $275, but
I think if you're doing if you do the
Private entrance, you get $300,
Private-
and it's
well,
making
I don't know.
$1,200 a month.
300,
I would love that. I would love that.
that's
But
more like a monthly jump, and you're talking about $50.
yeah,
If you do the private entrance and you do the little kitchenette thing, I think hands down, like to me, you just said that the
275.
individual AC makes it the most premium room to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I like cold AC. I think if you do the private entrance, like Caleb was saying, don't even do the walkway necessarily or put it into it
yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
right away. So
Actually, after they do it a while, all you have to do is put the pavers down. They'll wear it down for you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. That's probably what I'll do. End up doing just, it's up to them.
Yeah.
If they want to, use that entrance or not. I think probably also will help out from people going in and out of that door.
Right.
One less person going in and out of that door. If this is someone who, this room is someone ideal for someone like, let's say they work all night long. They need to sleep in the daytime. They want more of their own space. Again, not paying that last month in security. Only need 2 times the rent. This is super ideal for somebody like that. Just like you, I like it really cold. If I see you got your own climate control, hands down, like that's what will sell me.
What's the closest airport?
Flagler, just south of here, and that's about
I
20.
know Padsplit talks a lot
20
about
minutes.
this being kind of a transition step, but I do think that there will be a few people, like your lady in Jacksonville, like she may be your long-term tenant.
Yeah, she loves it.
And that's how I look at this room. I was like, wow, this could be one
So-
of those like who works local,
Yep.
doesn't want to buy a home anymore, doesn't want to rent out a smaller apartment because they're too small.
Yep.
I still get the house, home, neighborhood feeling, and this is
And
this is
this is
a
better.
massive
you don't have to
room.
worry about
Yeah.
it.
Of the two, this is the premium room.
100%.
Especially if you do private entrance, maybe only make it one way for this person to go through. None of the guests can come here, and you put the kitchenette there.
So this is where I was originally thinking about putting a kitchenette, guys. So you know, not in their room. That way they can keep their room as their room, and it's totally separate. I was going to build it out right here.
Yeah.
But I don't know, them getting Uber Eats, how much are they going to use a kitchenette? Really, it's just going to have a microwave, a desk, or a microwave, 3-4 cabinets.
Microwave.
Yeah.
Tabletop coffee pot.
Yeah.
Air fryer,
And I'm just
microwave.
thinking
Where's the
this from a
closest water?
perspective as a
Is there
as
any
a
water on
father
that
and a
wall?
husband.
No.
And obviously,
Actually,
don't
yes,
wanna
there
get
is.
divorced.
The master
If I were to
bedroom,
get
bathroom.
divorced, this would be a
So
I could
it's
tap
always
into
nice if you're having someplace
Right.
you're.
I know. I could tap into it. I know.
I want an apartment with 100 less
Yeah,
neighbors.
so Javier, what I was mentioning, the reason why I'm saying it out loud is I don't plan on getting divorced anytime soon. But if I did, a room like this
You're right.
setup would be what I would pay
Yeah.
300, 250
Yeah.
to 300 a week.
Yeah, like I said, it'll be interesting. And if I can get 300 a week for this, dude, I am going to be like door knocking every house in this neighborhood.
A lot
No.
of divorce lawyers.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I know that sounds
Oh
ridiculous.
yeah, for
but
sure.
Divorce lawyers, probate
Oh,
lawyers.
no,
people
I
like
know.
That, they
For
have
sure.
short-term people that need space all the time.
No, yeah, no, of course. Like,
Well, you don't have
Go-
to, but
yeah.
whoever's doing your marketing.
yeah, no, for sure. No, so going back to what I said, I mean, the comps based on premiums, I don't think I can get more than $250 a room out of this house. If I can, dude, that's really awesome, for the premium rooms, The smaller ones are going to be $200, $225-ish.
What price were you putting on the kitchenette cost into it?
That kitchenette's
3,000
probably
you said.
about like 3,500
I think you can go. I think you can get that lower
lower.
if you do less of a.
What, the
Especially
kitchen?
if you're just doing
Less than 3,000, I think so
cabinets,
too.
microwave, coffee pot. I mean, you're talking. I would say less than 2.
Yeah, you don't even have to do hanging cabinets. You
Yeah,
could just
just
do
no,
regular,
it's
just
like,
the
a
floor.
base cabinet, a floor
So it
cabinet.
could be like a top.
All right, so viewers, let me know. Should I do kitchenette? No kitchenette? What do you guys think?
That do it.
Kitchenette.
Kitchenette?
Yeah,
Kitchenette?
Yeah, if it's just a base kitchen with a microwave.
Oh, no upper cabinets?
No, but
No.
no.
Okay, granite countertops or just
Only if you're
Formica?
committing to the full.
Lock off.
Commit to the full. Try to go as high as you can. Private entrance.
Well-
outside here. This only coming in.
Well, okay, but okay, so they'd have to keep that locked because they need access to the
They
walk-in
can
drive.
go. So like
They can go in,
master
right.
Nobody can come
Right,
this way.
right.
So they have an entrance this way, but they potentially have a double lock.
Okay, but how do they use the bathroom?
Well,
They can still go in.
There.
Oh, you're talking about, okay. You're saying you want one way, not two way. Got it.
Exactly. One way. One way.
Yeah, one way, yeah.
One way home.
They can use the double toilet.
Yeah.
You have your problem because you said this was going to be your lockbox room.
I can make one of the linen closets one
So
of
if
the
you have,
lockbox.
you have to get a different lockbox room and you have to get different potential access. Then they have to grant access for anybody who needs. If your
Access,
cleaner's using that
yeah.
space, or if you're.
That's
other
true.
people end up
That's
using
true.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then.
But
Cleaners
the
can come from the
cleaners and all
outside.
that.
Well,
they
the
can
cleaner
come
doesn't
through
really
outside.
need that.
Yeah, they could
No.
come through it.
Unless their supplies are in there.
Because technically this is still
Put
a
a door
common
in it.
area,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't be as common for the other
Yeah.
folks because they're.
Oh, you're talking about
not
outside the
walking
house?
over there, they're walking over
If
there.
for like a.
So your
yeah.
cleaner needs something, they could come in through
I
there.
don't know what
get
your
out,
contractor would
come
charge
on.
or something
Yeah,
like that. But
yeah.
That's probably the only-
I don't want to cut in, yeah.
Javier, wouldn't this still be considered technically a common area, even though like the entrance over here is locked off?
It's hot.
Wouldn't this still be considered common area? So your cleaners could still come through this front door and access
Well,
this
well,
area?
he's saying if I want to make it like that Mac Daddy premium that he's talking about, then eliminate the common area. Because yes, in other words, it would be correct.
Yeah.
You could try it as open and common.
Yeah.
I just don't think anybody over there would ever come.
Oh, yeah, I don't
Unless
either.
they need
To
it.
come through that door to use a kitchenette. Unless they needed to access that room, that would be the only time
Yeah.
for an emergency to
But
get
what's
to
in there?
that.
Just the electrical panel, right?
Just electric panel
It's
storage.
something like you were saying, if an electrical
Right.
box popped and you need to go in there and
No,
switch it back over.
those are good concerns and questions for that. And again, these are the questions that when me and Javier walked this in the original beginning, before he even dotted it and purchased it, like he wanted to see everything first.
Yeah.
Envisioned what he thought he could turn this into, the neighborhood. I mean, we drove up that street and we like literally like we're going 5 miles an hour. I'm sure we had some people pissed off behind us. We were trying to. It was like late at night.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is there a sidewalk all the way down? We were looking. Like, oh, there's still more sidewalk. Oh, there's still more sidewalk. And we tracked the sidewalk all the way down to all the businesses. We're like, okay, so that's still going to be good for foot traffic, scooters, bikes, even though predominantly he has enough spaces for cars.
on that road? Because up
There
in the
aren't.
beaches, there aren't.
There aren't a lot of lights on the road, so nighttime travel is probably not going to be a good commute. But most people
Yeah.
are commuting during the
But you're
day.
going mostly car-
Yeah, but it's not that bad actually. It's not. It's actually not too bad. So that's one of the things I factored into my underwriting. I was like, okay, well, if there is no transit system around here, which is super appealing when you're doing this business model, like how do they get to where they need to get to, which is the sidewalk? But the way I look at the Palm Coast market too, as well as like if you work in St. Augustine and it's just not affordable in there, and they're not really you have a car. You can go right here, 30 minutes that
thing
way.
here.
Same thing with Daytona. What'd you cost you? 30 minutes to get here, bro?
Not even.
50 from where we were.
50
But we're
minutes.
at about 30.
But would you say like main Daytona area is 30?
Yeah.
About 30? That's not bad.
Because we're past.
Yeah.
From here, we're past Daytona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if somebody wanted to live closer to family or something, they wanted to be lunch on you.
Well,
So
try.
I bought the are you familiar with Subject 2? Okay. All my property and all my acquisitions, I only buy properties via Subject 2 or seller finance.
Can you explain again subject to because I never.
Oh, can I explain it? Oh, yeah. And now I'm going to go into depth with it right now. So when you buy a property Subject 2, what that means is I'm buying properties with existing loans staying in place. There's only two reasons why somebody would do Subject 2, okay? One is they're in financial pain, or two means that they're low equity, meaning they don't have any equity, they hired an agent and they went on the market to MLS, but that agent didn't sell the property. For this particular property that you're standing in today, I bought it Subject 2. This seller was in financial pain. He had I think about $40,000 in arrears, meaning they didn't make their payments. So that accumulated over time. They weren't making any payments. They were living here, not making payments, right? So this seller, they hired a real estate agent, a flat fee agent. That agent probably didn't know what they were doing. I'm not sure on that story, but they most likely didn't know what they're doing. There's wholesalers out there right now who are going after sellers for their acquisitions, and they're going after realtors for their acquisitions. This particular seller, this particular wholesaler went directly to the seller because this was a flat fee listing agent, so I believe they paid him a $500 cancellation fee, and they removed him out of the picture. So the wholesaler was going out, and his job is to go after pre-foreclosure properties, people who have arrears, right? He negotiated with the seller saying, hey, look, if I buy your property, we can, actually for this particular property, HUD bought out the arrears. Okay. Now, typically you have one of two ways. Either that seller can go and do like a loan modification, meaning that they're modifying the loan, and this in particular seller got a loan modification. So those arrears was actually, they created a silent second. HUD came in and bought out the arrears. So that underlying first lien position is still in place. Nothing ever changed with that. What happened was, and that's like $329,000, right? They created a silent second with the arrears. HUD bought out and catched up their arrears and made a silent second, okay? There was no other loan terms to it other than that silent second has to be paid at close if the property ever sells in the future. You see what I'm saying? We didn't pay off that first underlying loan. We didn't pay off the second lien position either. We just took the property over subject to, meaning those stayed in place. The seller, I believe, got $3,000. The wholesaler got $6,000. And I paid all the closing costs. So I paid the seller, I paid the wholesaler, and I paid like the closing costs, all the other miscellaneous fees and stuff like that. So for me to acquire this property, it was, my cash to close was like a little over $10,000. I also had to pay a 1 month's mortgage payment outside of closing. So really it was like $13,000 for the upfront acquisition of this property. So right now, there's tons of sellers in today's market that are in the same position as this seller is, meaning that they're not able to make their mortgage payments anymore. They might have had a hardship. They lost their job. Maybe that they had a relative living with them, helping them to pay bills. Maybe that person moved out. There's tons of sellers out there in today's market that are in this same exact financial position.
But you're still responsible for the first loan, for the loan.
The loan stays in place in their name. We're purchasing the property with the loan in place, and that loan stays in their name. No one ever sells it. Nothing ever happens to that loan. It stays in place in their name. Where the big benefit is to me as an investor is, think about when they bought the home. They bought this at a 4.75 interest rate. Okay. In today's market, me as an investor, if I go to a bank, Bank of America, they're not going to give me a 4.5 interest rate. Plus, they're going to want tons of closing fees. They're going to want 20, 30% down. They're going to want all my financial records, my tax return, have to do a whole, you know how it is when you get a bank loan. It's a headache. So how does that work for me is because I get to take over their underlying loan at a 4.75 interest rate, which they bought a year or two ago, and I wouldn't have never got that in today's market. You see what I'm saying? So the loan stays in place in their name against the property. We don't ever pay that off.
So the refi or the modification was only for the arrears?
The modification, they did a loan modification for the arrears. Yeah.
Only the arrears?
Yeah.
Because I
HUD
worked with some pre-foreclosures and they were vets. They couldn't, the refi was double what their original rate was.
Well, so the silent second, there's no refinance. They didn't do any refinance. No, there's no refinance. It's just a loan modification. The seller, when you're in distress, you're actually able to apply for what's called a loan modification. Right. What happens is, and by the way, loan modifications are very invasive. There's a lot of documentation. They have to fill out an application. I always tell sellers, if you want to do a loan modification, get a foreclosure specialist involved and have them help facilitate the loan modification. Because a lot of sellers, A, they'll fill out the application wrong and they won't give the right information. And or B, they just get denied because they're just lost in the whole process, right? So they have to go to the bank and say, hey, can you modify my loan so I can keep my home, in other words. And so what they did in this point, HUD bought out the arrears of, I think, $30,000 or $40,000. And what they did was like, hey, this money, Mr. Seller, is not due today. We're just going to create a silent second, put it on the as a silent second on the property, and if the property ever sells in the future, like now when I sell it, one of the things I have to pay for is that 30, 40K, right? Because that's still against.
It's just gonna be a line item on the closing.
Yeah, it's just going to be a line item, but I still have to factor that in, right?
Right.
That's a lot of money.
Yes.
You know, so I have to factor that in.
So your name's on the deed.
My name's on the deed, yes. So when you own a piece of property, right, you get a mortgage instrument and you get a note, the note IOU, right? The other instrument to a piece of real estate is the deed. The deed is the person, whoever's the deed's in, is the actual receipt of the property. That's the person who owns the property. If you went to Publix, Walmart, a supercenter, and you bought groceries, you get a receipt. Well, that's the same thing in real estate. You get a deed. That deed, the only thing that transfers and the only thing that changes is the deeded ownership. The name stays in place against the mortgage. The mortgage payments still stay the same. Everything still stays the same there. Nothing changes, nothing moves. The deed now goes to my name and my company's name.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? And now I continue to start making these payments on behind.
Everybody with the same amount.
Yeah, same amount.
Exactly.
Yes,
Same
yes. In this scenario, yes, it's the same amount, right? Now, here's the cool thing. Now, for that seller, what most likely would happen in most instances would be they go into foreclosure, and guess what? They're done. The bank now takes the home. The only person winning there is the bank. So what do we do here? We created a win-win situation. The wholesaler got paid $6,000. The seller got paid $3,000, and they got to walk away from the financial burden that's been the biggest headache. And then me as the investor, I get to now have another property, right, in my portfolio. You see what I'm saying?
But correct me if I'm wrong, they can't apply for another mortgage till you sell the house.
So if somebody's in foreclosure, you have two scenarios, and this is the same thing you asked me the other day, and I'll say it again because I answered this for you already.
I know.
So it's okay. If they're in a pre-foreclosure, think about this. If they haven't made payments, that means their credit is ruined.
Right.
No bank is going to qualify them, period. So it has nothing to do with me.
No, I understand.
Now, there's another flip side to that. Let's say you are, again, there's two reasons why somebody's going to do subject to. One is because they're in financial pain, and two is because they're low equity. Those are the two main reasons why somebody's going to do a subject to transaction.
Okay.
If they're a low equity, that means there is no financial pain. They just can't sell their home on the market because there's no equity, right? Now, that person might move to California or Texas or wherever they want to move across the country or wherever they want to move, their desired spot, and that person can qualify for a loan because there is no foreclosure on their record. Right? So what happens is we have to prove and show that we take over these payments and we're making the payments. That new lender will offset the debt typically by 70% of what the lease amount
That's
is.
what I was trying to understand.
Right. So the lender,
Start again.
right? And then they can go and qualify for another home. Right?
I didn't understand how
Yeah.
it wasn't
So you
gonna
have-
be part of their debt to income.
Yeah. Right. The lender will offset the debt.
Okay.
So anytime you.
Because it's being paid by someone.
It's being paid by somebody else. You can offset your debt. And that's nothing special, by the way.
No.
If you own a property right now, and one of the things your lender will ask you, if you go to Bank of America and you go to get a loan, they're going to say, send me a list of all your assets, right? That could be stocks, that could be a real estate, that could be, send me a list of all your assets. So now once they start seeing your assets, your real estate assets, let's say they see 123 Main Street. They're going to say, okay, who's paying 123 Main Street? Okay, we have Bob, he's a tenant there. We have a 12-month lease. Okay, let me see the lease agreement.
It's like
Same thing, they'll keep going down. They'll say, okay, well, we see 123 Main Street's a $2,000 payment, but you're leasing it out for $2,300 a month. Oh, wow, so you're making $300 a month. They can take 70% of that lease agreement and offset your debt, right? So that's how they remove that debt, and that's how you get more buying power if you're using a bank.
And if you fail one payment, for example, the person,
There-
what happened with this?
So a couple ways that you want to structure. So if I don't make a payment, obviously that would still go on their credit record, right? So here's the importance, even for my viewers, like when you're selling, for people, wholesalers who are selling these deals, it's very important that you sell to a reputable buyer. Because what's happening right now, a lot of people are selling these subject to deals, and all they want to do is get an assignment fee and walk away.
Right.
They're not selling to reputable buyers. And that's happening a lot right now.
I know.
And there are a lot of people defaulting as the buyer, owner of that new subject to that to deal. So for me, I'm very heavily capitalized. I don't ever have to worry about that. And especially if I'm ever talking direct to a seller, I can build that trust and rapport with them and they understand that. Now, if I'm just selling to Bob, Joe, Smo, who's probably not a reputable buyer, then I'm not going to sell that deal to him. If I'm wholesaling a deal as the wholesaler, the middleman, I want to make sure I'm selling to a reputable buyer. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what if there are people that don't want to do any of this, they just have money?
And they just want to buy cash?
They just want to be part of an investment, but they don't want to be part of doing any of the management.
Good question.
What criteria do you have
Okay.
to take that person as a
So
whatever?
I partner with people in multiple ways. I have what's called PMLs,
Okay.
private money lenders, where I would say, hey, this investment is costing me from construction to acquisitions to the furniture, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's cost me 50, 60K, what I said earlier.
Okay.
And I'm looking for long-term PML. So if you're a long-term PML and you have lazy capital, think about if I can give you a 10 to 14% return on your money secured by the real estate. So if I borrow $50,000, $60,000, which this project is going to cost me, let's say their money's sitting in a 401k, a bank account, they want to scratch off a ticket, they want the Powerball. They just have money sitting there not doing anything. There's thousands and thousands of people having lazy capital just sitting nowhere. That's what we call lazy capital. It's not doing. Money only works if you keep it moving, right? And a lot of people don't understand that, right?
I do understand.
It's a tool.
Right.
And so I can go to that person and say, hey, look, I got this Padsplit I have this Padsplit property. I send them a pitch deck, a very, very laid out pitch deck. Here's my exit strategy. Here's my cash flow. Here's the money I'm looking to raise. Here's the property address. Here's the photos of the property. The pitch deck has all these fundamentals of the deal in it. Here's how long I plan to keep it.
Okay.
So a pitch deck is just a presentation.
Right.
Okay? That's all it is. Right? It's another word for saying presentation. I'll send them that, and my PML can say, hey, okay, cool. I'll lend you 60K on this deal. I'll do 12% or 14%. Now it's just a negotiation between me and them and how much they trust me. Now they can come in on the deal and they get 12% annualized on their money, interest only, secured by the real estate. And what I mean by that, they'll have a lien position on the property. Right? Now remember, a deal like this would be very high risk for a PML because they don't want to be third lien position. Typically, PMLs want to be first or second. And typically they don't want to be second either. Everybody wants first lien position because it's more superior. Right? So that's one way you can partner with me. But if the PML partners with me, they don't have any upside on the asset. They don't get tax depreciation. There's no upside for them. They're only getting solely a return on their investment, meaning the money that they gave me. Now, another way that I can partner with people and invest with me is they can do what's called PMP, private money partner. You might walk this property. Like, you know what, Javier, you call me in 2-3 days. I love what you're doing. I don't see myself managing contractors. I don't see myself creating SOPs. I don't see myself negotiating with people with contracts. I just don't see that. How about we partner together? You'll own the property 50%. You'll be the company would be, our company would be on the deed. It'll be in a partnership entity. We both own the property 50-50, right? Whatever we come up with. Typically, you see a lot of people do 50-50 structures, right? You own it 50%. I own it 50%. I'm the operator on the property, right? I operate the whole entire property. Now, when it comes to the cash flow split, typically you'll see 70-30 or 60-40. Okay? Meaning, whatever this property produces on a monthly basis, I'm going to take 60%, you're going to take 40%. Or I'm going to take 70%, you're going to take 30%. Again, there's no rule. It's what we come up with, right? And so I partner with people like that, right? So where they're a PMP on the deal. Now, the cool thing about them for that is, and it's important who I'm dealing with. I got a guy right now, here's a real life scenario. He's got $400,000 sitting, not doing a damn thing. He's like, Javier, whatever deal you want to deploy into, I'm happy to. Just send me the presentation, send me the pitch deck, and I'll fund the whole entire deal. I'll fund the construction, I'll fund the furniture, I'll fund the real estate purchase. Depending on the lender, the private money lender, some people don't want to fund like furniture and construction costs. They only want to fund the asset, right? So depending on who you're dealing with. But this individual in particular, he's a PMP, a private money partner. He'll still fund everything, right? I'm coming as the operator. Now, here's what's happened. My expertise is getting me more real estate. See what I'm saying? I didn't have to bring any money to the table. I didn't do nothing. My expertise, because I know what I'm doing. I've shown a proven track record. I've walked the property. People see this as real deals in real time. Like, this ain't no bullshit. Like, I'm really doing deals. There's a lot of people out there not doing deals, right? So when people see that, now I'm building credibility. People know that I can trust me. So now I have people asking me, hey, how can I partner with you, Javier? So I partner with people who are called PMPs. See what I'm saying? Yeah, because you might be in a time of your life, or you might be a time of your life that you're like, you know what, I don't want to deal with the contractors. I don't want to deal with the negotiations. I don't want to learn how to do the SOPs, even though that I have it all in my community.
Right.
Be
And
bold
I
investing.
I saw what Matt put in, and I'm like, okay, I need
Yeah.
like 6 years to go to and watch them all.
Right. So even though I have all those assets already for you guys, people want me. Even though that I put everything very detailed. I don't know if you guys saw the course on the classroom on Be Bold. I have a whole entire course in Be Bold. If you guys are interested, click the link below. But I have a whole entire course on Padsplit and Airbnb. But a lot of times people don't want to go in there. They want me, right? Even though like they want me to teach them. They want me. So I'm partnering with people who are PMPs on deals like this. I'm partnering with people who are PMLs. Me personally, as an investor, I prefer a PML. I don't want another partner. But I will still do PMPs.
No, I understand.
I prefer a PML. I'd rather borrow your money. And typically when I partner with PMPs, I'll make them silent partners because there can't be too many decision makers.
Right.
Too many chiefs and not enough Indians. You see what I'm saying? So you have to make them silent partners where, yes, you do get upside. Yes, you do have ownership in the deal. Yes, you do get cash flow, but you do not decide when this asset sells.
Okay.
Right? Because remember, if they're saying like, oh, well, I want to sell this in 3 years. Now, if they want to sell their position in the deal, we can talk about that. We can always structure that. But that's the beauty of creative finance. Like, even just within the deal of the type of deals that I'm taking down, there's no rule. I mean, we can structure things and get creative as you want. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. For the average investor to take this deal down, I'm going to be in this 50, 60K. Think about this. My 380 purchase price would have put somebody in here 20% down just on the initial acquisitions. Right. That's just the down payment. They would have had to pay closing costs. They would have had to pay all these stupid miscellaneous fees that banks charge. Right. Before you know it, they're in this thing $200,000-$300,000. Like, I mean, they're in this. They're too much money in this deal. Right. You know, and I'm saying $200,000-$300,000 as an exaggeration, but think about 20% down of 380, plus closing costs, which typically about another 1.5%, right, maybe 2%. Maybe you can get the seller to cover that. Maybe you can't. Depends on your structure deal. Then you have your furniture. Then you have your passbook renovation. You're in this thing well over 100K on this deal. Most investors would have been well over $100,000 in this deal, easy. I'm only going to be in this at 50, 60K. You know. And what really is costing me the most money is the Padsplit renovation, right, and the furniture and stuff like that.
I get it. I understand it better now.
What's up, brother?
How long their property lenders normally they get their fund back?
So the duration, the term, I wouldn't want to go any less than, I would say, like 24 months.
And 24 months.
Because I can't pay you 50, 60K back in 12 months. It's just too much money, you know? So I would want someone to partner with me to have expectations, and we would obviously lay this out. I would want that to be at least 24 months.
24 months
because
what profit and what?
No, so if it's a PML, it would be 24 months, interest only, secured by the real estate. See what I'm saying? So it's somebody who is your 9-to-5er, who has a 401k, who's just sitting there, and guess what? Their money's sitting in 401k typically for years, and they don't even know where their money's doing. They don't know where their money's at. They don't know how their money's performing. Ask somebody you know who has a retirement account. Ask them what their money's doing. Ask them. I guarantee they won't be able to tell you.
People that just have money sitting in
deposits. 400 or 500K he's just sitting on. I'll pay for everything. He said, Javier, you find the deal. I'll fund it. You have 50% ownership. See what I'm saying? And I said, this is another thing, guys. This is why it's important I'm doing content. Now, I'm not saying everybody wants to do content. Some people might not want to be behind the camera, but people get to see I'm doing real deals in real life. And I'm doing business with people who know, like, and trust me, period. Right? And guess what? I can reach hundreds of thousands of people. Right? Think about it. I checked on my Instagram profile. I had 45,000 people just on my Instagram profile that I reached last month. I would never be able to do that in 1 month. Think, even if I was speaking at a big conference, your typical conferences are only like 2,000 to 3,000 people. Mm-hmm. When's the last time you went to a conference that was 40,000 people? It's not happening. 40,000 people in one room, it's not happening.
And you've done close to 90,000 views in the last 30 days.
Yeah.
On YouTube.
Yeah, that's Instagram, that's on YouTube. You know, so I have people watching what I'm doing. I have people on the sideline. And there's going to be lots of people on the sideline that never reach out to me, never say anything, never comment, never like, never share, whatever. And that's okay. But guess what? Those people will come out of the woodwork one day and say, hey, Javier, I want to invest with you. Yo, I've been following you for like 2-3 years, bro. I want to invest in you, man. I love what you're doing. And guess what? Now when I get into bigger deals, which I'm focusing on, you know, I'm focusing on a lot of 75 to 150 unit acquisition value add C-class multifamily that I'm going to be taking down, right? So guess what? I'm going to be looking for PMLs. I'm going to be looking for more GP partners for these bigger asset classes that I'm taking down. Like I love single family, but for me and what I'm doing and where I'm looking at to get in life, this is not scalable for what I'm doing, right? But I understand that. It's very crystal clear to me, right? So it depends on what part of the journey you're in. But yeah, 24 months.
24 months, yeah. Because I was trying to figure that out because I did a soup 2D or partner up, but it was a wrap.
Yeah.
So normally in a wrap, in 6 months I got my money back.
Yeah.
And then I'm partnered up the cash flow.
Yeah. So when you're looking for PMLs, just say you want longer term investors, somebody who's looking for longer term, you know.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Cool.
What questions do you guys have? Anything I can answer? Matt wants a cookie and hey, Haley, right? It's Haley? Emily. Emily. What questions you got, Emily?
What are you doing? Like, how concerned are you with like the things I'm looking at when I walk into a place? Like, one of our mistakes a lot of times is overdoing a lot of rehab items that otherwise wouldn't need to be done.
Okay.
Is like, so I'm looking at like, okay, you need a lot of extra baseboard. You have a lot of existing baseboard. Are you just saying, hey, as close as you can get to it, or are you tearing it all out, putting all new baseboard in? I'm sure
Oh no,
that's
we're
not
gonna
doing
install baseboards that match those baseboards.
just as close as you can get.
Yes,
to it,
correct.
right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think perfection will be like a thing.
No.
It's just,
No.
it look good enough, you know.
No.
Yeah. Paint it, fix it.
Not even that. Even if I would sell this on a retail market, buyers' attention to detail at this price point, buyers, if I was selling a $2 million plus piece of real estate, those buyers, attention to detail, right? What type of railing is that? What type of doorknobs is that? What type of countertops is that? Because they're higher end buyers.
Yeah.
Even on the retail market at $300,000-$400,000, these buyers, attention to detail, typically aren't looking at small details like that. And obviously for this business model, I don't care to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what you already answered it earlier, but it was going back and re-texturing the things that need the texture.
Yeah, so that's what they're doing. They're sanding in there. You get to see them in real life action.
Yeah.
They're sanding and they're prepping the.
Matching the popcorn's always a pain.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, they'll do the best. They'll do the best they can. Like I said, up there, they'll take care of that. Because remember, up there, they have to seal that because where's sound going? Sound's going through that to the other room.
Absolutely. Yep.
So that was an interesting one on that.
I bet. I just took a few pictures of that just for future thought. It was because it was that room. Yeah, this room's
Yeah.
the one that really impressed me with like even the thought of cutting off
You like that?
all that. Yeah, like to me, I'd be like, oh, you don't want to cut that off from everybody, but you're like, no, the room's worth it.
Yeah.
Just like your dark side of it. Like to me, like you have that thought of the thought of like not losing the outdoor access to everybody. But it's worth it. Like, oh no, they can just
But
walk out and
everything's all in
around.
one package.
Yeah.
But when you're thinking like house movement, what you're doing, if I want to go to the backyard, I just want to get to the backyard. But it's worth losing that and then going around.
Yep.
That I've worked with, and he's already mad
More,
that he's missed 2
it's
calls.
less functional
And last week I
than
was,
normal.
I had some toxic
Your normal
poisoning
thought.
going on.
For
I was
sure.
really sick, and I was just kind of sitting
Or
on
like the
the
back
couch.
patio.
let's see.
Like,
I checked my email.
because you're cutting on both of those, but it's worth it to that, making it.
Yeah.
And it's at 6:30.
100%.
God, did I miss it?
So,
But it was already the next day. So.
You good?
I said,
Nah,
God,
it's just-
come to this call.
Thank you, man. running the head.
But he
Yeah.
also has heart. He used to be a pastor.
What area are you in?
This is the kind of
I'm
guy.
Kissimmee, St. Cloud.
Up front,
Okay.
my guys that were out, people are going to about to lose their house, in the place to go.
Probably my next question would be, if cash flow is like a concern on you, you know,
Right.
so you will do this like in downtown Orlando or something like that. Like,
oh my God, I would. If I had the same house in Orlando, dude, I'd buy it all day.
Yeah.
The problem is, it's a little harder to find this product over there,
Yeah.
right?
But once you
they
find
come.
the product, it's just put it together and put it out there, and it's like.
Yeah, for sure. Like the Orlando market, if someone moves out of a bedroom within 48 hours, typically somebody's in the bedroom. My Jacksonville market, like I said, still a great market, but I didn't have the expectations. I had a 30-day hold time expectation. Like it would take 30 days from the time I put on the Padsplit to fill the rooms, right? It's taking a lot longer than that. You see what I'm saying?
Your costs with
Yeah, I'm covering my costs right now. I'm break even. I'm not making money on it, but that's okay. I'm getting a lot of upside. Yeah, principal pay down. I'm getting leverage. I still, you know,
Is that
still.
because there's a lot of people, or it's just the market?
No, so with the Padsplit market, you have there's a lot of different factors. That market in general, you have a lot of people putting like rooms up for like 140, 150, 160, 170. And I don't think that I'm really losing my avatar member to that person, because I always think like, who would live here in my property? Because remember, I'm creating more of a premium product. My properties that I'm taking down obviously have very nice kitchens, very nice finishes. They're nice environments, nice neighborhoods. These are the type of neighborhoods I buy in. Nicer, you know, I would say C plus, you know, neighborhoods, no HOA. But with that market in general, there's just a lot more supply than Orlando, right? Or Jacksonville market was a lot older than Orlando market, if that makes sense. So even though Orlando's market's catching up, I think the Orlando market last time I checked had like 400 or 500 listings. Jacksonville has over 1,000 now listings. So you want to make sure, that's why I said, as it gets more competitive, you want to have a more niche product. But remember, I mean, in the world we live in, things will just become more and more, less and less affordable. So there's always going to be someone to book your room. It's just how good of a host you are, how good of a product you have, how good of a location you have. Like there's all these other different variables.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Because we run into a situation, our family, that one of our family members, they needed an affordable living, you know? And we were looking at St. Cloud, and I know you're trying to hit that market, and there were nothing in St. Cloud, and everything was, if there was something, it was a little pricey for what it looks. So you were paying like top dollar for something, I was like, that's kind of sketchy. Yeah.
So have you thought about any like move-in promo sort of things? Like
So I waive the move-in fee, right? So when I do a new property like this, I won't charge any move-in fee to come in. I want to get the occupancy rate up as quick as possible. I want to start offsetting my operating costs. Like that's my main goal. Remember, the downfall about single family and typically doing this type of business model is you're losing money day one. Every single day that goes by, I'm losing money. So yeah, exactly. So how do I stop the bleeding? So I need to stop the bleeding fast as possible. And it's not like, hey, I'm discounting my rooms, but I'll advertise when I have my listing title. I'll say no move-in fee. That's an advertisement. I'll put an emoji by it. On my listing titles to optimize, and I'll do a whole separate video on this. Optimizing your listing is very important. Like adding the emojis, making it stand out, doing the little triangle on your picture, showcasing what you have as far as like amenities in the bedrooms. So, but I will do no move-in fee, test it out for 2-3 weeks, see how this market responds, and I'm talking about this particular property. I'll see how their market responds, and then what I'll end up doing is discount it after about 3 weeks to let it marinate on the market for 3 weeks. I'll put a promotion of 8 to 10%. And so that person will get 6 weeks off. Every single week they'll get 8 to 10% off their rent.
Okay.
Their dues. They call it dues.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Sweet.
We just finished walking the Padsplit walkthrough with the community. And guess what? All the good takeaways that they got to come through today with, they got the vision of Padsplit. If you are someone who wants to join an involving community on school, make sure you click the description below and like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I hope to see you guys on the other side. Let's go.